His Celeste is excellent, his Jewel is excellent, but in this format, global bans, draft pick, there's a lot that these teams can do to take the heroes away that are comfortable. What happens in this format when players end up on maybe their third or even fourth pick? How does that impact their play?
I mean, I think I've seen Jijajak on Koshka yesterday, and I've seen him on Glaive, I want to say, and I just feel like he has such a strong champ pool. I mean, these players have been playing for a long, long time, and yeah, they are really experienced on each and every single champion. So they're just going to have to make the best of the situation, you know, ban and pick based off of their strengths.
All right, we know that Axiom is a very cerebral team. They'll have game planned out all the picks and ban scenarios, and as it gets started here, Axiom with a Koshka ban, Nemesis Titan taking Fortress out of the match. Rome, your thoughts on that? The most 111 meta jungle pair is gone.
Well, taking out Koshka and Ardent Axiom side is preventing Nemesis Titan for those early jungle invades, so they're going to have to opt out for probably a Sky, maybe a Glaive or a Jewel in the jungle. But on Nemesis Titan's side, with the Fortress ban, which was pretty smart, in my opinion, maybe they're going to try and pull out like a later scaling comp. They're going to try and just be a little bit passive in the early levels, scale out better, and just force better team fights.
And that would be fun to see. There was so much early game aggression yesterday, Hafu.
Yes, it was all Koshkas and Fortresses.
And maybe they watch the tape, maybe they'll listen to Rome, and Ardent comes off the board for Ardent Axiom. Rome.
So far, I'm seeing these two teams are going to probably pick out some later scaling comps. What they're going to do is, it might be a little slower game where they're going to try and capitalize on mistakes.
Okay, that would be nice to see. Titan with a Celeste and a Rona. What does that set them up for, Rome?
Later scaling games, for sure. So, Rona, she's pretty strong early, but she does need that time to farm up some early game items, with Celeste scaling out very well into the late game. On Ardent Axiom side, I'm trying to see what they're going to choose for the next two picks, preferably something that can put some pressure early for Nemesis Titan's jungle.
And it is a Ringo, followed by a Glaive. That is a Ringo Glaive Ardent comp on Ardent Axiom side. On the other side, have you seen a lot of Stussy on a Celeste? Does that work for them on the Nemesis side?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Stussy does play a lot of lane, and it works out with him pretty well. Right now, he's going to have to try and clear his farm as much as he can and rotate down to help out his jungle.
Okay, that Nemesis Titan team is Stussy, Dragon Dagger, and Loving Iman. Player Inane was unable to make it, a family emergency at the last minute, so it is Stussy coming off the bench, and is going to fill out this team. They have a lot of chemistry, they played a ton, so it's not a problem. That comp finishes out with a Catherine. Any final thoughts on Ardent's comp into Nemesis's comp?
Glaive is probably going to opt out for an early burst damage item, probably a tension bow into Breaking Point. While on Nemesis Titan, they're probably going to try and ease out in those early game fights, capitalize on any mistakes, and just build up items towards the late game.
Hafu, you were watching these teams very closely yesterday. You see these comps. Is there a hero or a player who stands out for you as you see this now the table's set?
Well, I would definitely think that Nemesis Titan, you know, they had a lot more success with that Catherine and Celeste yesterday. I mean, they had a Jewel in place of the Rona, but it looks like they're kind of adopting that double stun again, and hopefully they can just get those easy picks.
Okay. Rome, if things go the way that Nemesis Titan would like them to early, what would that look like?
Being very secure. So perhaps they're going to clear from their backs to their fronts, and then they're going to avoid, go up to lane, see if they can push out any ganks with having Catherine on their side. And if that doesn't work, just keep clearing their jungle. And if anything does happen and Ardent side tries to invade them, Celeste will have that early game poke, come down, just position herself in the back line, and hopefully she'll do some damage pretty good.
All right, let's get it going. This is best of 3. The team that loses is out of the tournament. The team that wins has second life. Let's go for the first match. Calling the action, Action Jackson and Tasty Bacon.
All right, thank you, Playoff Beard. I am Tasty Bacon. On my left is the one and only Action Jackson, and we are getting set to go into our first game of the day. As they mentioned, a lot is on the line here. The loser is out of the tournament.
Yeah, it's a very important match for these guys. I think either of them could take it. We saw moments of hope in their series yesterday, but having both lost that first day's game, this is it. This is down to the wire. They really need to pull through here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nemesis Titan, Ardent Axiom, it's just about to get underway. I cannot wait. We saw those drafts coming out. Some the Rona and the Glaive both picked up, so that's going to be really exciting. We are now on to the Halcyon Fold. It is Ardent Axiom on the blue side, Nemesis Titan on the red, and we are underway.
All right, so early on here, I imagine we're not going to be seeing too much crazy stuff going on, but we saw a lot of aggression out of Nemesis Titan yesterday. I'm wondering if they're going to match that this time around.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we knew that they were going to be really pushing to try and counter the aggression of Vaughn in their matchup yesterday with more aggression. So let's see if they continue that play style here, or if they try and play Ardent a little bit differently. But given that they have the Catherine and the Rona, I feel like that is an opportunity for them to continue to be just as aggressive. And we're seeing a bit of a invade here actually coming out of Ardent now, but this is going to lead to a 2-on-2.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of Nemesis's members have hit level 2 yet. So they don't necessarily want to fight Jaja Jack, who has reached that point up in the lane. We're seeing Stussy doing a pretty good job against Ace's Persona in terms of that farm, too.
Yeah, Dragon Dagger did just hit level 2 because they were able to secure that forward camp. But it's pretty much even. Everyone then backs off, goes back to their back camps. Not too much going on in terms of the early aggression from either side. The invade wasn't really successful. Dragon Dagger got actually one more farm than Jaja Jack was able to on that first rotation. Again, not going to make a huge difference in the long run, but it could be that mental aspect of trying to go for that early invade, having it not work. Now do you continue trying to do it, or do you just play safe?
Yeah, I mean, you really do have to think carefully about these decisions. At the moment, we are seeing just pretty standard jungle starts here. Loving E-Man might need to be a bit careful about being collapsed upon. Ardent are being very pressurizing in the jungle right now, going for a fight, but Stussy rotating down might look to turn this one around. They are 3 versus 2 at the moment. We're seeing Ace's Persona slowly make his way down here, though that's going to dissuade the side of Nemesis Titan from continuing with that aggression.
Yeah, just going to be paying a visit to the shop, getting the first couple items out here. Stussy actually picking up some light armor to help deal with the Ringo early on in the lane. And also a light armor for the Rona, just in case a jungle skirmish does break out, having that little bit of extra defense for versus the Glaive. Interesting to note that they may be looking for a double weapon power comp here on the side of Ardent Axiom. Obviously, Ringo can just start off with the dagger just for damage in lane and then turn into crystal power afterwards, but we'll have to see what he decides to do.
Yeah, right now Ardent are trying to put a bit of pressure into this lane onto Stussy, but he's playing extremely smart. He's staying back, he's not over-aggressing, and with the lane now pushing in his favor, that is into him, he is going to be relatively safe. Not too much crazy stuff going on. Similar aggression coming out from Ardent again and again in the jungle. They have stolen away quite a few camps at this point, but it's only resulted in a small lead. We might see a fight here, though. E-Man gonna try and go in and stun Jaja Jack, but now Ardent completely turning this one around, trying to go for more. Jaja Jack is extremely low. Stussy as well, but is Stussy gonna be the one to fall first in this game? Jaja Jack may even be able to get out of this one completely. A very well-played engagement from Ardent Axiom.
Yeah, really great job by Ardent to not panic when Jaja Jack was taken down so low right at the start of that. He kept his cool, afterburned into the enemy team still just to get that displacement, and it ends up being Ardent coming out on top of that fight. And now it's a question of what they get off of this. They do go in for the deep invade, take away those back camps, but a great job from Nemesis to understand that that's what's very likely going to happen. They went and did the exact same thing. So despite the kill going over, it's still only a 600 gold advantage for them. It's not that they didn't really get a whole lot off of it because Nemesis was able to answer very intelligently.
We are seeing Whalemare taken fairly low here, though. Nemesis wants to get some blood back for that earlier death. Jaja Jack going to be the focus for now. Can he get out of here? No, that is going to be the kill going the way of Nemesis. They want more. They find Whalemare as well. Double kill coming through for Stussy. Very nice job by them. Off the back of that aggression, they're going to go for the gold miner.
Yeah, great heliogenesis use there from Stussy, able to get a ton of damage down onto both of those members of Ardent Axiom, able to pick up 2 kills, and just like that, Now Nemesis, they get the gold mines, they get a little bit of extra gold, not too much because it is still very shortly after it spawned, but the extra map control, the vision control, they now have vision of that entire middle area of the jungle, and that is so important when a team is trying to be aggressive like Ardent was. They were constantly trying to take away this forward camp. They're going to see that coming every single time now.
Yeah, that is very, very true. That's one of the best things about the gold mine, of course. The vision it provides is invaluable. Right now, Nemesis Titan are actually getting quite a lot out of that, seeing Wailmer and Jack roaming around here, trying to put down some scout traps. This is obviously going to allow for Stussy to know that he's safe to farm the lane a little bit as well. So the pressure it provides on the map and the knowledge it gives you is really, really strong.
Yeah, Stussy and Ace Persona are doing pretty evenly in terms of the laning. The farming is only about 4 CS between them. But of course, Stussy, with those 2 kills, has turned that gold into now a heavy prism and an eclipse prism. So getting closer and closer to that first tier 3 item, the really big power spike that's going to come out. There is also a heavy prism in Ringo's inventory, so it will very likely be that crystal power Ringo, which is so focused on just the slow from Achilles shot and then the immense amount of burst that can come from the Hellfire Brew.
Yeah, and look at Nemesis Titan at the moment. I just want to highlight what they're doing because beforehand we saw Ardent constantly invading upon them. But now that Nemesis feels stronger, you know, they've won that last fight, they are starting to be a bit more aggressive. Ardent Axiom going for the gold mine right here, trying to make some kind of a proactive play, but Nemesis immediately reacting to that. Look at the damage from the Solar Storm coming in from Stussy. That is going to be the red light telling Ardent to back out.
Yeah, now Ardent really, they have to play defensively. Obviously, you know, we saw how low Ardent just got. Wailmer is going to have to be extremely safe. He can't stay here and defend this turret. And so with 3 members, they're going to get a ton of damage onto that. But here comes the Hellfire Brew. They're going to try and defend this, and they should be able to hold them off for now. But a lot of damage onto that turret.
Yeah, that was a very nice push by Nemesis Titan, and the thing is, because Jack and Wailmer are also fairly low off the back of that, it's not as if after the forced retreat of Nemesis Titan they can go for the gold mine or any kind of objectives. In fact, you're seeing Nemesis Titan being the aggressors here, going for these jungle camps, trying to deny as much gold as possible and make up that earlier play. Wailmer going to be caught out here as well. The red mist finds the kill. Loving E-Man and Dragon Dagger doing a great job of applying pressure across the map.
Yeah, Wailmer, despite going down there, did just finish off a Crucible as his first item. And that's going to be big because obviously they want to be able to use that reflex block for the entire team to protect from a Catherine stun, to protect from a stun from Celeste as well. But now they're fighting under the turret.
Yeah, he's going to afterburn out of there. Tried to defend that tower, not able to do so. First one of the game picked up by Nemesis Titan at only 7 minutes and 45 seconds. They're really starting to turn up the heat here. That said, Stussy's fairly low right now. Dragon Dagger has lost a bit of health. They got to be careful. They got to back up and not bite off more than they can chew. We saw yesterday, Nemesis Titan in that second game against Von Menace were doing really, really well, but they fought into an infused team, and that is a tendency that they have, you know, fighting these fights they can't really afford to take. This game, they're being a lot more measured and taking things slowly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be tough for them to really chase down this team. They obviously, with a Catherine, you can get that stun, but you have Glaive, who, if Glaive does get caught out of position, Jack can just use an afterburn, and if someone tries to chase him, just knock them back away. So he has really good escape utility, but it's only if he saves the afterburn and doesn't use it as an engage. It's a pretty interesting, you know, ideology of if you use the afterburn for an engage to catch someone out, or if you try and go for that, you save it for an escape at the end.
All right, so Nemesis, they're actually trying to pick a fight here. Catherine throwing that ult off. Wailmer extremely low immediately. The gauntlet comes out, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough to keep him safe. Solar Storm not landing onto anyone, but that doesn't deter Nemesis from applying as much pressure as possible. 4 kills to 1 right now. They've finally pulled a gold lead out of these fights that they have been picking. About 1,000, 2,000 in the lead off the back of that immense payout. Now Jack stunned up under his own turret. Gonna have to afterburn out of there. He escapes with his life, but having to recall here is going to give Nemesis Titan complete control of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, they're going to be able to just go in and steal away all these camps. I'm really curious by Ace's Persona's item selection here. He went for the alternating current as his first item, And a lot of times you see that on someone like a Vox or, you know, things like that. But it's for Ringo, the crystal power Ringo build is not typically based on the auto attacks and getting that extra crystal power off every other auto attack. It's all about the ultimate and that Hellfire Brew. So it's a little curious to me to see that item come out, and it hasn't really worked for him thus far. He's been able to do really well in terms of farming, but when the fights have broken out, he just hasn't been able to put out the damage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe towards the later stages of the game, once he gets more crystal power, those alternating current procs will actually allow him to put out some good damage per second. But for now, he's basically just a Hellfire Brew. Speaking of which, it's going across onto Stussy, who falls very, very low, but he's managing to kite back. They can't find the kill. Ardent Axiom, their aggression has been checked by Nemesis, and now Jack miles out of position. Tries to find Stussy, he gets it, but he goes down to the turret. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Ardent Axiom barely able to scrape out the kill in that fight.
Yeah, and you know, I think that really Nemesis is going to be fine with that. It's a 1-for-1, but they aren't losing anything after this. They gave up a kill, but they picked up a kill, and now Ardent is not getting any other advantage on the map. In fact, it's Nemesis who are the ones shoving in this turret. They're not quite going to get it, but here's another fight.
Oh, the gauntlet goes down, but Dragon Dagger did get the reflex block off. Healing with the lifesteal from Red Mist keeps him safe for now. Loving E-Man also going to be able to just walk away from this one. So you can see Ardent Axiom struggling to make things happen. They're trying again and again to pick fights. You know, they're falling behind. They feel like they've got to do something, but it's just not panning out.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really curious to me the fights that Ardent is picking, because even when they get a fight that they want, they aren't getting anything after it. They haven't been able to get any objectives, and here they're going again. This is engaged by Nemesis.
Yeah, and this is a bad fight for Ardent. They don't have a lot of their abilities available. Solar Storm across. Jack is going to secure that first kill. Whalmer falls as well. Nemesis Titan, they want to go for the ace, but Ace's Persona is going to be a little bit too far away for that one. Very nice pressure coming out of Nemesis. And to be honest, you got to ask yourself, Ardent Axiom, they just pushed very far up the lane without good vision, without the ultimates they required for a fight if one broke out.
Yeah, their fight is so heavily based on their abilities at the moment, and it's just not working out for them. I feel like they're almost maybe panicking a little bit in this one because of the fact that they're just constantly trying to shove this lane out. They're looking
Dragon Dagger, look at the Red Mist. It's landing onto 3 people right now. Jack with the Afterburn gets him off of his back, but he still picks up the kill onto Ace's Persona. The ability to both engage and disengage from Nemesis is working out so nicely for them right now. You know, they've got the Frostburn on Celeste. She can kite forever, but at the same time, if they just want to go in, they have a very strong, tanky frontline Rona who can just lifesteal through all of the damage that's coming out of Ardent right now.
Yeah, and I really love that Frostburn pickup on Celeste because of the fact that Ardent is a team that is so heavily based on move speed. You have Ringo, who can increase his own speed. You have Glaive, who's going to be dashing out. You have Ardent, who's going to be increasing the move speed of his allies. Frostburn just negates so much of that. With the AoE that comes out of Celeste, everyone is going to get slowed. So even though they have their own move speed increases, it's basically being completely negated just by one item. It's a really smart pickup.
Yeah, I do like that one. At the moment, Ardent Axiom, let's talk a little bit about what they need to be doing differently to actually come back into this game, because they're falling further and further behind in gold. They're 5K down right now. But we've seen some great comebacks in the VGL, in this tournament as well. How are they going to pull this one back?
I mean, it's going to be... They need to play really strong defense on these turrets, but the problem is that's difficult for them to do because Celeste is just poking and harassing them so much with this Heliogenesis. As now they're posturing up, they're just sieging up this turret, forcing Ardent to have to sit in their base, and the only gold that they can get is from these minions. So it's really all going to be about patience from Ardent and not going too aggressive, not trying to pick a fight that they're not going to be able to win. And speaking of fight, it looks like they're about to go for one.
Yeah, Dragon Dagger is going to jump into the fray. That was a great gauntlet, though, actually stunning 2 people. The reflex blocks just weren't there. But where's the damage from Ardent Axiom? They had all this time to do it, but it doesn't go down. The Solar Storm finds a kill onto Jack's Glaive. And even with a very good ultimate coming out of Whalmer, still nothing from Ardent Axiom. They just can't seem to actually kill anyone.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is you have to go back to that alternating current pickup from Ringo. It's just not doing enough in these fights. You know, we just saw the ultimate, the Hellfire Brew, went out from Ace's Persona and it did maybe a quarter of one member's health. It didn't do anywhere near enough damage in that team fight. They were all grouped together, but it didn't do anywhere near enough damage. Glaive is not able to get his crits in. He only has a Sorrow Blade and now a Fountain of Renewal. They're trying to make these fights extend longer, which doesn't seem like a good idea for me because they're not winning these fights as they go longer because they just aren't dealing enough damage.
I mean, look back at the games that we saw yesterday, and Rona, I believe, is old school playing Rona in the Gangstars game. He just nearly died and life-stealed all of his health back, getting a double kill, right? When you're up against a team that Nemesis is running, you need to burst people down. You've got to burst Celeste down. That is the only way you're going to come out ahead. So extending these fights and trying to go for more DPS is a little bit counterintuitive. Ardent Axiom, they're struggling right now to hold it together. This is a very tough spot for them in terms of the tournament. Whoever loses this series is going to be knocked out, so they need to try and put up a good performance here. This is only game 1, but it's still an extremely crucial moment for them.
Yeah, I really love the itemization here from Nemesis. They've completely counter-built what their opponents are doing. Obviously, we were talking about the fact that there's not a ton of damage. They're going for a lot of sustained damage on the side of Ardent. And so there's a Serpent Mask and a Eve of Harvest being built on the side of Nemesis as they are doing Kraken. This is a dangerous Kraken.
He might try and steal this one. It is actually going to be taken away by Jaja Jack. That is huge. The gauntlet goes down. Stussy is taking a huge amount of damage on the backline. Can they turn it around? Stussy falls. This is huge. Nemesis, they are in a tough spot right now. Dragon Dagger, the red mist isn't enough. He can't lifesteal. Loving E-Man is going to fall as well. Ardent Axiom with a huge comeback fight.
That was, you have to question the decision of the Kraken there. Why are you doing Kraken while every single member of the opposing team is alive with ultimates? That was a terrible Kraken decision, and it just completely backfired for Nemesis. Ardent is absolutely going to get a huge boost off of that, not only in terms of gold, not only in terms of the map pressure, but mentally. That just completely brought them back into this game 100%.
Man, I cannot believe that play coming out of Ardent. They are going to pick up, I believe, 2 turrets, maybe even 3 off the back of that. It looks like 2. That is a huge swing. I mean, the gold difference was about 5 or 6K. It's now only 2. Ardent, they can absolutely come back into this one. And pushing the game later is going to make, for example, this alternating current on Ringo better and better and better as he gets more crystal power. Nemesis, they've got to be really careful about getting ahead of themselves.
Another really big key to that fight, infusions. There was a weapon infusion on Jaja Jack and a crystal infusion on Ace's Persona. There was not a single infusion on the side of Nemesis. Once you are level 12, you need to almost keep an infusion on you at all times. That is incredibly important. But now that we're starting to see some more items coming out, Breaking Point just finished on Rona. This is going to be huge. These fights are lasting a long time. Breaking Point is going to get incredible stacks on Rona. She's going to do a ton of damage. It's still not, that fight didn't completely put Ardent in control of the game. This is still Nemesis in the lead. They still have the advantage. If they can get a fight the way that they had been throughout the course of the game, they will still very likely win this one, as now the infusions are really starting to come out.
Yeah, we're seeing one right in the pocket of Dragon Dagger. They want to go for this. Loving E-Man throws out the ultimate, gets a silence, but the exchange hasn't started yet. Ace's Persona, he's in the back, but he can't get away. That is big for Nemesis. They get the first kill. They're looking for more. Whalmer, he is going to go down after such a beautiful comeback by Ardent. They just can't keep it together. Nemesis, they're going to get a lot off of this push.
Yeah, and that was really just the simple fact of they caught Ringo. Ringo had nowhere to go in that fight. He was completely stuck up against the wall. And as soon as he was down, Jaja Jack wasn't able to do enough himself to take Stussy out of the fight either. And it just completely went in for Nemesis. They pick up 1 turret. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the second one because Jaja Jack is there to defend and Ace's Persona is going to be up very, very soon. They are smartly choosing to back off here. But they just showed they still have the advantage.
The thing is as well, Ardent Axiom throughout this game, in fact, have been getting cut out of position a decent amount. Their vision hasn't quite been on point. It didn't have scout traps or flares for that push. And it seems like they can make things happen when they are the ones setting the stage for the fight, when they're the ones actually engaging and utilizing their knowledge. For example, they knew that Nemesis were on Kraken, so they were able to start the fight themselves on their terms. Pretty much every other fight we've seen this game, Nemesis Titan has had superior vision. They've caught someone out. This can't keep happening. Right now, Nemesis are looking to secure this win. They're trying to go in onto Ardent, who are trying to deal with the minion mine. This is a big chance for them. Ardent Axiom falling very low on the back. Can he kite away here? The Frostburn doing wonders for him. The Gauntlet goes down as well. This could actually be enough. Ace's Persona just can't do the damage, though. That is going to be one kill going the way of Nemesis. Dragon Dagger wants more, but he cannot find it. Nemesis, can they take some turrets here?
Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and ignore that backdoor protection. Look at how quickly that turret is melting. That's one crystal turret already down. The Hellfire Brew comes out for a lot of damage, but still a 3-on-2. This is not a fight that you want.
No, it absolutely is not, and I like the fact that Nemesis is being a little bit measured about their pushes here. You know, they're not trying to end things right off the bat. They're not doing what they did earlier with the Kraken, although they are going to go and try and take that now. With Ace's Persona, Jaja, Jack, and Wilmer all being so far away from this one, there's no chance for another sweep.
Yeah, this is going to go over very easily for Nemesis, and this could very likely be the game as, you know, really there's not a ton that they can do to defend the Kraken. There's only one turret left. Nemesis, once again, full infusions coming out. Other than there's no crystal infusion on Rona, but that's the only infusion they're missing. They are just, ever since they started hitting level 12, they've been fully
Wilmer, he actually wants to pick a fight right now. This is last chance Canteen for the side of Ardent Axiom. The Gauntlet goes down, but Nemesis are just ignoring it. They're staying in the center of the fight. Look at Stussy. He might actually go down here, but he is the only one. Wilmer alone. He is the support. He's not going to be able to do anything in this situation. The Kraken is pushing. Nemesis Titan are probably about to take this game 1.
Yeah, that was the best positioning that Ardent Axiom could have hoped for in that fight. Ringo was on the opposite side of the wall, just peppering in damage, but just wasn't enough. And Nemesis Titan take game number 1 of this best-of-3 series and are one game away from keeping their hopes alive at the NA Finals.
And by the same token, Ardent Axiom, they have got to be